After crashes, restarts, and more explosions than I can count, we've made it to what will be the finale of this series, focusing on the Grand Prix mode in F-Zero GX, where raw speed is king and the difficulty is pumped up to the max. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button like you're boosting down the home straight and join me for one last ride. In this episode we tackle the Emerald Cup, the Diamond Cup, and one final surprise, all on Masterclass. So buckle up, start your engines, and fill your energy gauges because here we go. Hello everyone, Ben here, and what a rush this has been. We're starting with the Emerald Cup today, picking our boy Beastman in the hyperspeed as usual. The first track in this cup is of course Fire-Filled Cylinder Knot. And I mentioned in a previous video about there being a few boosts littered around the track which I hadn't been aware of, and that for Master Mode I would need to right that wrong. The Black Bull pushed me all the way to the finish line here, but those additional zippers made all the difference, as I barely squeezed out the victory, getting this campaign off to the perfect start. Moving to intersection, I had a solid start and was neck and neck with the Black Bull throughout, until decision paralysis struck. On the retry, I built a lead only to lose it and my grip on the final corner. I was able to recover, but by the time we exited the pipe and retook the lead, only to have history repeat itself. It wasn't all bad, however, because my perennial rival, the Black Bull, had an accident of his own, and this left me 33 points ahead, but without a safety net. Contrary to the aesthetic of double branches, I didn't need to gamble or take any risks here. I drove a strong but controlled race, boosting for dear life when it was safe to do so, and I took home a rare, comfortable victory with my rivals stuttering. I went into round 4 with an 86 point lead. I was determined to learn from the mistakes documented in a previous episode on Halfpipe, and I hit the front here, but battled tooth and nail with F-Zero luminaries like Dr. Clash in the Crazy Bear, Baba in the Iron Tiger, and James McLeod in the Little Wyvern, pushing the limits of the track. I retook the lead around halfway into the final lap, and I held it until the final straight, where I turned too harshly here and almost threw it all away before riding my shit in the nick of time. But that was all the AI needed to pass me in the dying moments. I held on to third place by a razor thin margin, but the consistency which saw me take a 132 point lead to Ordeal in the final round was about to desert me. Things started well enough, though I managed to duplicate the mistake I made on Expert Mode by clipping the wall here, and throughout the race my rank fluctuated all over the place. Long sections of tremendous skill would be undone time and time again, resulting in lost positions. But somewhat remarkably, I had recovered once more to be amongst the leaders approaching the end. But in keeping with this drive, I misjudged the last turn entirely, and surrendered a bunch of positions. This was then compounded on the narrow hill straight, leading me to eventually cross the line in 18th spot. I felt that this could have been a much stronger and more decisive finish, but I shelved those feelings because the Diamond Cup wasn't about to beat itself, and I came into this with a job to do. After the world's shortest pep talk, I got back on the horse, and you better believe that I wasted no time whatsoever in getting aggressive here on Trident to pick up an extra life. Just look at these beautiful kills, one after another. And then from this point on, I was gone. I didn't stop boosting until the race was over, by which time I had hammered the competition into pieces and destroyed them by almost 8 seconds. This run could not have gone any better, and Trident had well and truly been tamed. There was still lateral shift to take care of, but after how badly I devastated the field in the last race, my confidence was sky high, and I hit the front early. And besides a small loss of grip at the end of lap 2, it was a lead that I would never relinquish, boosting throughout to slowly build and then rebuild my lead. I was surprised I didn't end up forgoing my newly earned additional life here, because there are so many things that can go wrong on this circuit which require micro adjustments to avoid, which is difficult when you're driving all out. But nevertheless, I held on to the victory to make it 2 wins from 2, taking a 69 point lead into undulation. This one was nip and tuck, and I traded the lead with the Night Thunder and the Black Bull during the latter half of the race. As usual, many of the competitors failed to finish this course, but I wasn't going to be gifted a third consecutive victory here by any means. I thought I had this one after passing the Black Bull in the dying moments, only for him to retake the lead just before the finish line, meaning that I had to settle for second place. This was still a great result for me, however, as my lead grew to 77 points going into round 4. I took a massive hit almost immediately on Dragon Slight, which turned me upside down, inside out, and everything else in between. When we slow this down at half speed, we can see that this is courtesy of the Fire Stingray. He slams me into the side of the track so hard that I'm sent into the air with no control over my ship. But upon closer inspection, check this out. He actually hit me twice. This guy actually tried to fricking Wombo combo me in an F-Zero race. Getting back to the race at hand, and I did actually manage to catch up and even entered the second lap in 7th place. But my race was about to come to a sudden and unsuspecting end. Again, having slowed the video down, the Night Thunder bounces off the barrier and appears to slam into my ship at such an angle and with such speed to send it into the atmosphere, from which this time it would never return. Somehow I don't think I was meant to finish this race, but it's a good job that I picked that extra life up back in Trident for incidents just like this, right? The retry was smooth sailing until just after the ice, but I did manage to land a shiner on the Black Bull here, and after this I led until basically the end of the race, when for some reason I decided to grind the nose of my ship against the rail to the extent where it allowed the AI to catch up and overtake me. I still claimed the runner-up spot though, which left me sitting pretty with 2 lives and a 120 point lead going into the dreaded Phantom Road. And initially everything was moving along peacefully until the Fire Stingray came into view, and the post-traumatic stress disorder from 2 episodes back kicked in. This was basically the same as any race on this track. Your craft gets ravaged time and time again against the edges and you finish dead last. Which is exactly what happened this time. And yet, I didn't care. I had done it. I came, I saw, I conquered. Master mode completed without having to resort to a custom ship. Beaten. Screwdrive arcade courses have arrived. Meteor Stream arcade courses have arrived. Is this another Grand Prix? Thunder Road. Spiral. So I jumped over to the shop for the first time in forever to spend some of the tickets I'd been earning. Oh my god, and I thought we were done. And then I did the thing that you probably hoped that I would do. Given that I was running blind here, just to give you some insight into my strategy, I focused on using the opening laps to assess where the boost strips were and areas where it would be safe to do so. Aeropolis Screwdrive is a short course and pretty simple to boot. Its one real pinch point is the hairpin turn at the end of each lap. It favours multiple smaller and shorter energy strips, meaning that you can't afford to miss one. Also, I noticed a bunch of ships in this which I don't have access to, and I'm unsure if that made the competition any weaker, but to my surprise, I got the win here. Up next was a brand new location, outer space. This setting is so damn cool, and it seems like you're racing through a space station in the midst of a meteor shower. The end of each lap the track diverges, asking you to choose between a shorter route with zippers or a slightly longer turn with energy strips, similar to Casino Palace Split Oval. There's an additional energy strip at the midway point which essentially allows you to boost throughout, and a couple of twisting icy sections to navigate. I scored a comfortable victory on a track that immediately became one of my favourites for the aesthetic alone. If there is a low point in this cup, then it's probably Port Town Cylinder Wave. Firstly, it's a cylinder. There are already plenty of pipe-based levels in GX, and the Port Town backdrop is somewhat uninspiring. And in addition, to go from Meteor Stream to this is quite unfavourable. But as a track, I enjoyed this, and it does bring a couple of new ideas to the table. The pipe diverges into 2 briefly to offer players different routes for the energy strip and the zippers a la Meteor Stream. But my favourite thing on this one is that you cross the line in mid-air, falling from the top of the pipe back down to the bottom. Now, because I wasn't exactly aware where the track diverged, I couldn't access the second energy strip, which significantly hindered me on this run. I ended up taking 4th with only 1/10 of a second separating me from second place. Fortunately, my rival, the Bunny Flash, had an absolute stinker and finished 20th, meaning that all of a sudden I held a 68-point lead over the competition. This couldn't happen. Could it? Round 4 saw us return to Lightning, and let me tell you without a shred of recency bias, Thunder Road is by far the best of the Lightning tracks and comfortably one of the best circuits in the game, full stop. It's got the fun factor of multiplex to go with the brooding and explosive Lightning aesthetic. There aren't exactly any high risks in this level, and there are 3 energy strips, meaning that you can boost around at max speed with relative safety, also like multiplex. It's one of the longer courses, but unlike say double branches, it doesn't feel like it. I took a 3-second victory here to extend my lead to 101 points. As long as the last race wasn't say Phantom Road 2 or something equally oppressive that I might struggle to survive, this could be in the bag at the first time of asking. Green Plant Spiral seems like a circuit that takes something from all of the tracks which came before it and provides a fitting conclusion to this game. It has ice, pipes, a figure 8, jumps, drops, the works really. And set in the Green Plant locality, the theme and environment present something approaching relaxing for this game. It's like Sega wanted to allow you to enjoy one last ride by throwing in a bit of everything, but not in such a way that would overwhelm the player. Like sections where you have a cylinder going through the middle of a pipe, or this part where you have the sun beaming through the trees onto the track. This is a track which flows beautifully, and due to the many energy strips you can boost freely here. And despite being the longest track in the game, there aren't many areas which should cause you to hit the walls or crash out. In this one, the lead passed back and forth between myself and a few of the AI racers, but ultimately I took 3rd place in what turned out to be a very competitive race. And that was Master Mode on the AX Cup, beaten at the first time of asking. F-Zero GX really stands the test of time in my opinion. Its sense of speed is aided by its 60 frames per second, responsive controls, virtually no lag, precision driving, and it never feels unfair. F-Zero GX is visually stunning, the craft are polished, the environments are crisp, alive and rich with detail. The texture quality is insane, and this does not feel like a game from 2003. And that is going to conclude this episode and series on Grand Prix mode in F-Zero GX. But rest assured, I will be back with story mode in the near future. Thank you for watching as always, and if you enjoyed this video, please drop me a like. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, then perhaps this episode will persuade you to do so. Keep it locked to the channel for future content, and I'll see you soon. Same place, new episode.